enough of that noise.
Time for the B-roll, boys!
Hello, welcome to the show. We are the B-roll boys. I will be your host for tonight. My name is Harlan.
And I'm Justin.
I think my name is Wes.
Should get on that. And today we are going to be talking about 2017's Wish Upon, an awesome teen horror movie directed by John Leonetti, I think is his last name, who, from what I understand, is best known for his work with James Wan on The Conjuring and shit like that. I believe he also directed Annabelle, so if you've seen that movie, you hopefully have an idea of what we're in for.
Yeah,
it's not
bad.
good. Yeah, so you guys hadn't seen this movie before, right?
No.
I've never heard of it before a week ago.
Oh, man. I'm sorry to bring this into your life.
Yeah, this was conjured from the ether for me.
Yeah,
My first wish is that this movie was never made.
that's a good one.
But
Then one of your cats will die horribly.
That's a meaningful wish. Yeah, John R. Leonetti seems to have a thing for shitty horror movies like Annabelle. I mean, like, the good shit that he's worked on, it seems like he's just, credited as a cinematographer for those. So I guess when he's doing the whole thing, maybe not so good. But anywho, I guess let's get into the plot. So the gist of this movie is it's a girl finds a box and she makes a wish, and every time she wishes for something, it comes true, but someone dies a horrible death. And I think last week I mistakenly described this movie as like a monkey's paw type deal, and I wish it were that, because that would require at least a little bit of thought. For those who aren't aware, a monkey's paw is like, like you wish for something and your wish is granted, but, there's some negative side effect to it, or something that, negates the benefit that the wish would have brought you in the first place. But in this, people just die, and that's it. There's not really anything, any clever twist on the wishes.
You get anything you want, and then somebody around you dies in a Final Destination way.
This movie is very Final Destination-esque.
Yeah, but I was about to say, but Final Destination is good, and that's a bad. I guess it's a bad comparison. But the deaths were more interesting.
I'd rather watch that.
I'd rather watch all 5 of them in a row.
Ooh.
Than watch this again. Well, I guess there's 6 now, but
I mean, this was entertaining and how stupid it was, but I can only imagine that this was like, for whoever was 15, 16 at the time that this came out, that this is like their movie of, we can't go see a rated R movie, but we're going to go see this, and it's the next best thing, and then they come and crowd the theater.
Totally.
Like,
this movie is
like a brain-dead teen horror movie.
Yeah, it's like filled with pop songs. Like every other scene, it'll show the main character, going from place to place, and there's a pop song to make it more lively, and it's fucking annoying as hell.
Can you think of a movie, or like a decent few movies where they actually use like popular songs in the soundtrack and it's not super obnoxious? Because the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Wolf of Wall Street.
Like frequently throughout the movie?
Yeah. Like Wolf of Wall Street throws in Everlong by Foo Fighters, and it's still like a good movie.
Nothing that really comes to mind. I mean, like most original scores are always noticeable just how good they are.
I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, if you count that.
Oh yeah,
that's probably the best example, actually.
Yeah,
like that's one of the plot points of the movie.
Or like Baby Driver, but same.
That's true. So, I guess
this is like Disney Channel level of bad soundtrack.
Oh yeah, I should mention that this is movie. The theatrical version is PG-13. We decided to watch the unrated director's cut, which is 1 minute longer, and like I forgot we were watching an unrated director's cut because it's so tame. Like
I forgot until you said that.
Yeah, right. Like that. I think I read that the only difference is that it's more bloody, and even then, it's still really fucking tame. Like there's not much blood in this movie. There's not much of anything.
The difference between the director's cut and PG-13 one is 1 minute. So yeah. I wonder what they cut out, because like you said, nothing's really that bad. It could totally be PG-13 still.
Easily.
Probably a couple of the shock shots, like where the lady gets killed by the garbage disposal, and like once she's found and she's sitting there like, oh, that was probably... I can imagine that shot was cut out, or like the close-up shot of her face. I can only imagine wouldn't fit into a PG-13 framework. But yeah, like this, even for a PG-13 movie, this is pretty weak.
Yeah.
This reminded me more of 13 Reasons Why than anything.
Especially if that guy's coming off the Conjuring universe and he was the cinematographer, I was expecting it to be a lot more visually interesting. And like the most interesting looking thing in the entire movie was the credits, which is just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it's got like this abstract imagery that's kind of cool, and I'm like, where the hell is the rest of this? Like,
Yeah. Has really nothing to do with anything that happened throughout the rest of the movie, except for that the wishing box is there, but that's about it.
yeah, it's kind of dopey.
So, should we go through the story?
Let's do that.
All right. So our movie opens up a few years in our main character's past, and she's just riding her bike down the street, and she's happy, carefree, like any kid should be. And she goes to see some birds that are in a nest, like 5 feet off the ground, which is cool. Having a good time.
Yeah,
Exploring
that's
nature.
cool. All right, yeah.
I've never seen a bird's nest this low, but sure.
Yeah. She apparently only went out to do that because she immediately goes back home, and she was only gone for like 3 minutes when she last saw her mom, and she comes back and her mom has hung herself. And,
As you do.
Yes. The child actor's performance is not great, and I know she's only in it for like a minute, but yeah, her scream is a...
It sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
That's very true. That's very true.
I guess you'd call this a B movie, right? This seems
Well-
like something that would want to take itself seriously.
I agree. Yeah.
To me, usually B movies are like fairly entertaining, though.
Like, this doesn't have like a Grindhouse or Resident Evil sort of vibe to it. This is very, like, it's trying to be... I can't say
think it's-
deep, because any Wish-based movie where the ending credit song's main lyric is "Be careful what you wish for," that's not exactly
on the nose.
poetry.
Yeah, it's a little too on the
But
nose.
it's not deliberately stupid. It's just incidentally stupid.
Yeah. So her mom hangs herself, and then we catch up to the present, where her dad is a dumpster diver. That's really like all there is to his character.
He has no job.
Yeah, he's just a dumpster diver, and he hoards all of his findings. That's like I guess a subplot in the movie is that she's asking him to get rid of his shit, and he can't think of a good reason why, but he won't get rid of it. But
Yeah, this is weird because, like, so how do they pay rent? If he's a dumpster diver and he hoards everything, what's he selling?
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he's just like giving
Like-
bottles or cans to the recycling center.
They don't bring it up whatsoever.
He's getting like
And-
$30 a week.
And the dad is Ryan Philippe, like a god tier human being, obviously. And he looks like he's fucking 25. He looks like he
Yeah.
had this daughter when he was like 10 years old.
Yeah, our main character is only like 16 or 17 years old, and it's really weird that like even in the very beginning of the movie, which took place I think like 10 years prior, her mom looks way older than her dad does in the present of the movie, if that makes sense. Like there's a big age gap between them, which is fine, but
Oh yeah,
He's got
like,
a thing for cougars, man.
Straight
Okay,
cougar.
cool. I mean, she would have been
Straight
like
Coogan.
that means I guess like in present day, if she had not killed herself, she would have been like 70. But okay, cool.
Which also makes it weird when like all of her like student friends, everybody at the school looks older than the dad does.
Yeah, like the pretty boy hunk.
Yeah,
She's like,
the
I have a
one that-
crush on this 35-year-old guy in my class.
Yeah. We see her in her Chinese class, and she's just like visibly turned on just looking at her classmate, who looks like a month younger than her dad. It's weird. So yeah, we're catching up on what her life is like since her mom killed herself, and she has a school bully. Like they have the worst interaction one of the worst interactions I've ever seen in any movie.
This is one of those where I could tell the writers like don't remember at all what it's like to be in school and have no idea what. You think they could have talked to a couple kids?
Yeah, I mean, so the actors in this movie are around the age they're supposed to be playing. So you think they could have been like, yeah, nobody talks like this, because she gets into
normal.
it with right. She gets into it with her school bully, Demetra, I think was her name.
Darcy.
Like Darcy Chapman. There
You're just thinking back to Spy Kids 3.
You're right.
Just can't stop this guy from talking about Spy Kids 3.
Yeah, we're like at a funeral, and he's like, "Do you remember that part in Spy Kids 3? Do you remember the thumbs?"
Please excuse me, listeners. I'm sorry. Okay, so she gets into an argument with Darcy at school, and she says to her, "You are smegma. You are ultimate smegma."
Fucking dunked on.
And she then her bully's like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" And so she like pulls up the definition on Urban Dictionary and just like reads it to her.
Well, actually.
You could just say dick cheese like an adult, but she's like,
No, it's actually residue that forms around the genitalia.
like, shut the fuck up, man. No high school kid talks like this.
I mean, yeah, like ultimate smegma. Have you guys ever called anyone smegma or dick cheese for that matter?
Yes.
Just imagine what that would be like if you use an actual insult that somebody calls someone, like, "Oh, you're a pussy," and then you just read the definition of pussy, and people were just like, "Oh!" Like, who
All
gives
these
a
kids
shit?
are dabbing in the background. And like,
Yeah.
I guess the most realistic thing that happens is that every single time something goes wrong in any way, there's some fucking dickhead with their phone, like, videotaping. Oh, and this is another one of those where they can't use the actual site. So even though they're supposed to be on Instagram, it's like Pixagram
Yeah, some bullshit
or something.
like that.
Like some invented
But they're
site.
always looking at it on their Apple products.
Yeah,
That's true.
And they all have
Everybody
like
on Apple.
giant boomer font and speak exclusively in acronyms. Like,
Yeah.
hey, letter R, letter U, @ party. And I'm like, I don't know anyone. Even when I was in high school, I didn't know anyone that talked like that. It was only like people's grandparents.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about this movie. It's like, it's not only just high school. It's like the makers of this movie were aliens, and they just told people to act like what they think humans act like.
Yeah.
Just everything just feels so unnatural. It's actually more unsettling than anything that actually happens in the movie.
Yeah, jumping ahead a little bit here, do you guys think that's probably the movie's biggest problem is, like, the dialogue?
It's definitely one of them.
'Cause-
That related, the audio mixing is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
The music is like 10 times louder than anything else in the movie, and even when the movie starts, like you said, that flashback scene, they have this pop song going, and you can barely hear what the people are fucking saying. It's like that through almost the whole movie whenever music is happening.
I think there's like 8 total pop rock songs.
It's
in
ridiculous,
this.
man. Like, and some of them play back to back. This movie really wants us to feel good about what's happening.
Well, I mean, that's why it's marketed towards teenagers, but like, even if
Yeah.
again, it wasn't that long ago, relatively speaking, that I was a teenager. I would have thought
Yeah.
this was dumb as fuck then too.
Agreed.
I mean, same. And I don't think I've called anyone smegma since I was in high school.
I might
People
call
still
someone,
use that, I guess.
I might call someone dick cheese just, because it sounds funny.
It
But,
is
like,
funny. That's pretty
I will
funny.
never call someone in smegma. That's just
Your number
Especially-
1
or-
and 2 names are going to be Dick Cheese and Jellicle for people from now on.
Imagine getting on League and calling somebody a smegma. And they're like, what does that mean? And you just type out the
Pause it.
definition.
Well, actually, virgin, this is what it means.
And then everyone else is like, oh. And then the other team starts doing touchdowns.
all right.
Or that's
So
just me.
we finally get the plot rolling a little bit. She talks with her dad, and her dad's like, "Hey, I got you this box that I found in the dumpster. Consider it an early birthday present," which is just like the shittiest birthday present. Like,
Yeah, and then his best
Ever?
friend is like, well, she don't want it, I'll take it.
yeah.
I found
like,
you
"Watch."
a case of beer in the trash.
He's
Hey,
like,
he's-
it had a bunch of Chinese writing on it, and I know you're taking, a Chinese class, so I thought you might like it. Here you go. I found it in the dumpster.
I didn't wash it.
Yeah, right. Like,
I put it.
still
I put
covered
it directly on your bed. By the way.
It's leaking through.
Yeah, so she does her best to translate what's on the box, and all she can make out conveniently is that it grants wishes, and she can't decipher any of the rules that go with it. So we'll get to that later. But she just kind of like really half-asses her wish. She's just like, I wish Darcy Chapman would just, I
Like,
don't
you know, whatever rot.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she said. She's like, I wish she would just, I don't know, just rot. And she goes to sleep. And then she goes to school. No, I'm sorry. We cut to Darcy Chapman waking up the next morning. And, like, she goes to the bathroom. And, like, she, like, starts, we don't see her face. Or, like, we hardly see, more than her feet.
She's got the T-virus, man. She's turning into Nemesis.
So it's pretty much only showing us her feet, and we follow her into the bathroom, and she like pulls off her sock, and we see that she has what looks like bruises all over her, and then it pans up, and she looks in the mirror, and her face is like suffering the same kind of thing. She starts screaming, and then her friends walk in.
And that one guy is just like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude, this is going on the gram.
Yeah, like he just immediately snaps a pic, like without skipping a beat. Like this girl is like covered in like what looks like frostbite. Like her foot is like black and like scabby and like disgusting. It looks like it was like overcooked on a grill. And this dude's like, sweet.
Like, this one's going on my story.
He had to put it on Pixagram or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
that-
Instagram.
And somehow that doesn't click for the main character because the next day, when they go to school and her two little dumb fuck friends are like,
Oh, did you hear Darcy Chapman
started to rot. And she's like, that's so weird because I just wished for that to happen.
Okay, so here's my thing about that, right? Is like, so like that dude like who took the picture like had no qualms about posting it because it's all over social media. Everyone in their high school is looking at it. She sees it, and the main character's like, she says, "Oh my god, it's like she's rotting," and then she like loses the expression on her face, like she just like realized, "Oh my god," and it's
Wow.
it's so fucking hilarious watching her realize it, but she still doesn't quite put it together.
Somehow.
Yeah,
She doesn't put it together throughout any of this movie. I guess that's
There's a
where
lot
this
of
is
that.
the most realistic. It's just all these characters are dumb as fuck. Just like real high
And-
schoolers would be.
Yeah, it's you think it's unrealistic in how stupid these people can be, but I guess really it is just that people are just fucking stupid.
Yep.
It doesn't get
I
better,
would've
by
done
the way,
everything
kids.
that
Those
she did.
kids that are dumb as fuck in your high school, they become dumb as fuck adults, too.
Can confirm. That's me.
Yep,
Yeah.
and me. That's why we're doing this.
48 IQ.
So she's home again with her box, and you've got the cliche, the dog can sense that the box is evil. And then, later on, the dog is missing. She goes searching for it, and she finds it eaten by rats.
Yeah, it's like eviscerated under the house somehow.
Yeah, which is like, I'm wondering, like, how did the dog sit still long enough for the rats to eat it? Because, I mean, like, the only thing that we see is that its stomach is, like, gone, and the rats are eating it. And I'm like, okay, so what did it die from in the first place? Like,
Like, it's not just enough that someone has to die. They have to die in, like, one of the most horrible Final Destination ways ever. I mean, to
Yeah.
skip ahead a little bit, like, later when she makes another wish, the lady across the street dies because she gets her hair caught in the garbage disposal.
this
And
movie
it's, like,
teases
ripping
you.
her scalp out.
And this is the worst placement of a garbage disposal switch I've ever seen. It's on the counter right next to the sink. You could
All
just
right.
like fart
Well-
on it.
It's
We'll
like
talk about
waist
it.
level, and it's one of those little, like, semi-flat pressure plates as opposed to, like, a normal switch.
So she doesn't put together that the dog died because of her wish. Okay, understandable. Could just be a coincidence.
Right.
She then wishes that the guy that she was fucking gushing over in class, Paul. She wishes that Paul would fall, quote unquote, madly in love with her.
Yeah, the dude that looks 35.
Yeah, exactly.
This is in no way going to backfire at all.
Yeah, it's very deliberate that she says madly in love, and that's like, this is the only instance in the movie where it could be considered a monkey's paw type deal, because it takes her wording very literally, and he becomes, like, obsessed with her, but we'll get to that. So, her Uncle August, who lives down the street in a dope-ass pad, he's got, like, a fucking mansion, pretty much, slips getting into the bathtub, and he hits his head, and the water's rising, and you think, like, oh, I guess he's gonna, like, if he's not already dead, I guess he's gonna drown when the water rises. And he fucking, like, he, like, wakes up, and he tries to, like, get up, and he hits his head on the faucet. It's like,
what the fuck?
It's like a fucking Three Stooges bit for a second, with him just, like, constantly bashing his head on shit.
Basically. Oh,
It's hilarious.
What was that wish for? Because the first one was that Darcy would rot, then the dog died. And
That was
then
for that Paul would fall madly in love with her.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That you just said. Okay.
And
Yes.
then she next wishes, oh, I wish that I would get 100% of whatever my loaded uncle has. And so
Like, the
somehow
second
that
he
means,
dies.
she's like, how can I benefit from this?
Yeah, she, like, not only is our main character really fucking dumb, but God, she's self-centered as shit. Because, like, and we'll touch on this later again, but, like, she makes no meaningful wishes. Like, everything she wishes for is just, like high school drama bullshit, Like,
Which I guess would be fairly accurate.
I mean, it's
I don't know, man.
accurate,
I
but
think
she
if you
still
had
doesn't...
7 wishes, like, I think even, like, a dumb high schooler would first make, like, big wishes. Because, like, we're shown later that there is no limit to what this box can do. It's not like, oh, it can only grant wishes that are, like, physically possible or within reason. Like, it can do fucking anything you want it to.
Just like, I wish I had a Lambo. I wish I had a Bugatti to wake up in.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, fucking anything. But, I mean, that's
Well, she
just
pretty
another
much does it.
testament to how stupid she is. Because she doesn't even really realize that the wishes are happening until, like, the 4th or 5th one.
Yeah, this, like, you realize what's going on so much sooner than she does, and it's fucking infuriating. But again, that happens later.
Like, by, like, the second one, I would expect for her to be like, huh,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, so... Alright, so let's back up. She, the wish comes true. She is left everything in her uncle's will. They go shopping with her friends, and they buy $800 purses. Cool, whatever. And then comes the part where her neighbor gets her hair caught in the garbage disposal. And the movie, like, teases you for, like, 5 minutes, like, oh, is she gonna get burned by the stove or something? Or, and yeah, like Wes said, the button for the garbage disposal is, like, hip level on
so
like, the side of the
unnecessary.
counter. Yeah, it's very contrived. Like, no one would possibly put that there.
It reminds me of Unfriended when the guy gets killed by bashing his face into a blender.
Yeah.
Like, it's that level of absurdity, and that
Yeah.
honestly was, like, the most fun part of the movie.
It's super contrived. And yeah, that's probably when it's the most, like, Final Destination-esque.
It is
Except
so
for another
in your
scene,
face
but-
right there that I honestly feel like the placement for that switch is literally illegal. That's how that's how bad it was.
It probably is. So yeah, her hair, after teasing you that it's just her hand that's going to get caught in the garbage disposal, which, wouldn't even kill her, her hair gets caught in, and it, like, pulls her head down, and then it just, like, rips her scalp off of her head. It's fucking great.
I guess the idea
Yeah.
is it yanks her down so fast that she, like, breaks her neck, because when she's dead, the back of her head is rested up against the counter.
I guess.
So she's just sitting there and I guess held in place by her hair for like several days before someone
Yeah.
finds her.
Which is
Yeah.
dumb because it shows it scalping her. But
Yeah,
it's a
like, her
fucking
hair's-
garbage disposal. They're blades. The worst
Yeah.
it would have done is just cut her hair. It's not going to suck you under.
Yeah, it has no sucking properties.
Gave her the
Ugh.
suck.
But that's the power of the box. It wants to
So-
claim its blood.
So, we
it
signed.
just
we
looks
finally,
like a tacky paperweight. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So we finally see the effects of her wish for Paul to fall madly in love with her. He dumps his girlfriend, and he just walks up to her immediately after, and he says, "So will you?" This guy's such a Chad. Like, he just knows that she's gonna say yes.
He's got the
Like,
biggest of dick energy.
He has, like, no hesitation. He's just like, so will you? And he just expects her to say yes without any context. So she says yes. They're gonna go out. She asks her friend in class to take her to someone that can translate the rest of what's written on the box. It's one of my favorite lines from the movies happens. They're driving and they're just like talking about something that happened between them when they were younger, and they're like, well, maybe in a different multiverse that never happened. And the guy says, hold on, you dig on multiverses? It's one of the best fucking lines.
Yo, you fucks with that multiverse?
He really likes the one starring Jet Li.
It's fucking great. I love
Did
that
you
one.
watch Interstellar too?
So they arrive at the translator's place, where she explains what we already know. Like,
Who's got
you
the
make a wish.
sweetest pad in the movie?
Yeah.
I don't care about that mansion. This little flat or whatever she's got is ballin'.
It's got like 4 bedrooms.
I'm sold.
The translator explains what we have already known forever. Like, somebody dies if you make a wish, blah blah blah. And she wishes anyway. Again, after it's been explained to her, she wishes that her dad was cool. And it's like, all right. So when the first death occurred, it's like, okay, that could just be a coincidence. Second death occurred, it's like, huh, that's weird. The third one, it's like, dude, how can you, like, possibly not understand what's happening anymore? Like, there is just no explanation for how she doesn't understand yet that this is killing people around her.
I'm just accumulating wealth and status, and it's weird. All the C-level actors that I know are just dropping dead.
Yeah, like, conveniently right after my life improves in some substantial way.
Kind of. Like, they bought a mansion, but the dad is still dumpster diving. Like, they live in, like, this $2 million house, and he still looks like he's in Snowpiercer. So
He looks like
yeah.
shit the entire time. He's like a Metallica roadie.
the entire time.
But that's setting up for her wish later.
It's true.
Because this movie's smart.
That he's not so embarrassing.
Yeah, so she wishes her dad was cool. And then her dad starts playing the saxophone like he used to before her mom killed herself. And again, her dad looks like he's like 30, maybe.
He's gorgeous.
And she and her friends are
he's
just like
handsome.
sitting on the stairs like wanting to fuck her dad. And like she is wanting to fuck her dad too. She's like, oh my god, he's playing the saxophone.
He's
What
total
could be-
hot sauce.
Yeah, that's what her friend says. Her friend is always saying shit like this in the movie. Like I wrote down a few of her quotes. She calls someone bitch sauce. She says got ninja. I don't remember what the context is for that.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm sure it doesn't mean fucking anything. She says holy ball sack at some point.
That's a good one. I've said that.
Yeah,
Shit
classic.
like that.
I whip that one out occasionally.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then
You
so
also
her
say
dad
it
is
occasionally.
cool. Her dad is cool. He's not dumpster diving anymore. And then
Whoa.
we see the translator has tripped and impaled herself on like an elephant statue in her
It's
apartment.
a bull statue.
Oh,
Which is
shit,
a
my bad.
straight up 1,000 ways to die segment, just saying.
Totally.
Like, to a T, I'm not even kidding, that's an exact one.
Yeah.
It's a good
I mean-
rule of thumb. If you're setting up your house to not have anything you could definitely impale yourself on if you
I
trip.
mean, it's the way that it's set up in the room. It's like right in the center, and like the horns are like pointed right at the door. Like,
That's not good
so
feng
like
shui.
even like speaking practically, like if you were walking in that room, it'd be so annoying to have to walk around that thing all the time. Like, why would you put it there?
I like to keep live claymore mines around every door just to keep me on my toes.
So
You
yeah,
live fast, you die fast.
that's true. So her friend, who was originally digging on multiverses, investigates, finds that the translator is dead, and he figures out shit that like he figures out from her notes that when you make all of your 7 wishes, the blood price is paid, and the box owner will die. That's the final one.
That's another one of the main things is like things keep getting translated like every 10 minutes.
And
it
we
seems
already
like
know
someone is coming up to her like every 10-15 minutes of the movie's like, "Oh, by the way, it says this too. Yeah, this would have been really convenient for you to know 20 minutes ago." And that just like happens constantly.
Like, the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Maybe
and then she's still being stupid. She's still making wishes.
Yeah, that's what. Maybe it wouldn't have been convenient for her to know, because yeah, like people explain this to her, like even when she already should have been able to figure it out by herself. People explain it to her over and over again. When you make a wish, someone dies. If you keep making wishes, you will die, and she just keeps fucking doing it.
Yeah,
like, and she doesn't even care.
This whole movie is a metaphor for office emails. People read part of it and just don't fucking listen. Just constantly.
Even when she does know, she's like, "Yeah, but my money."
Yeah,
or like, "I wish I was the most popular girl at school," and then everyone is cheering for her, and she comes to school
like
and everyone's
goes to a
like,
party.
"Fucking right."
Yeah, and that is right after, by the way, the guy that took to see her cousin, that translated this box for her, he tells her that she fucking died and it's her fault. It's like, "Did you wish for anything? You got this house, you're popular, did you wish for anything?" She's like, "No." And then she runs away from him, and then she just wishes for something else. And it's just,
like,
there's
no
if you didn't
excuse
hate
for it.
her already, that's the turning point where you're like, okay, this character's a fucking bitch and I want her to die. I could not care less about her.
I have to
Yeah,
give
that's the
props to
turning
this
point.
boyfriend though, because they go to like a bunch of parties, right? And every single one, he's like the ultimate hype man. He's like throwing up signs behind her and like dunking and inspiring
like,
applause for this girl.
She wishes that she was the most popular girl in school, and so like they invite her to a party that night or something, and like she walks in the door and people are immediately like, "Yeah!
The king is here."
They lose their fucking shit. It's hilarious.
It's so stupid.
He's
Of
the ultimate
course.
hype man, though.
Yeah.
Of course, that drives a wedge between her and her friends. You know, you gotta have some more high school drama bullshit.
Which is the thing I've never understood, because it's the same trope of, oh, she's walking towards her friends who are like would be considered just attractive girls in school and would not have in any way been picked on ever, God. But she's like going over to sit with them, but then the popular kid's like, "Hey, sit with us," and she's like, "Okay," and then they get mad.
Oh,
Look,
and then-
I
and
never
then,
knew
like,
anyone in school that would be legitimately pissed if their friends had other friends that they sometimes sat with.
Nah. And that also does bring up another weird point in the movie where, like, yeah, she, like, sit with the popular kids, but another popular kid that still doesn't like her for whatever reason gets up and walks away, and somebody, like, she doesn't say anything, she just gets up and walks away, and somebody says, "Ooh, burn."
No, she says something. She's they
Does
keep
she?
calling her winner as like a pejorative to her. It's like, "Look, winner, you're still nobody."
Oh.
And
I
everyone's
had
like,
subtitles on, but I didn't see that.
everyone was like, "Well, don't let the door hit you on the way out," and then she fucks off from the movie.
Damn.
But
So-
yeah, like, they wouldn't be unpopular by any means. I mean, like, everyone in this movie is attractive, pretty much. There's, like, no reason to even feel that way whatsoever.
Check how geeky they are.
Yeah, and then,
Okay.
like, there's not even any geeky qualities about them. It's not like they're, like, band geeks or anything. Like, they're just picked on for
They
no
don't
reason.
even play
They're
WoW.
just normal people that
Yeah,
would just go through high school unnoticed.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah.
But so let's see. She finally finds her neighbor's body with her hair caught in the garbage disposal. That was like fucking like 40 minutes earlier in the movie. She finds her body, and we don't see her call the police or anything. I mean, I guess we can assume that she does, but we never see anything come of that. But it's at
Yeah,
that
it's
point
never
that-
mentioned again.
It's at that point that she finally realizes what's going on with this box. Like, people have told her over and over again, and she's finally like, "Oh my god, it's legit. Like, people die when this happens. Oh, I get it now."
Oh, and by the way, about the lady that was just rotting in that house, has no one called her? It's been like 3 days. Has no one called? The door was unlocked. No one even tried. We didn't have like an Amazon package that came in, and if you have a body rotting in a room for 3 days, that shit's gonna stink from the street, dude.
Yep.
Like, it's not just gonna be like oh, found a body.
Yeah.
Like there was no prior lead up to this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This
it
lady
was
doesn't
like
know
deaths.
anyone. There's no
was-
mailman. There's no.
It was pure coincidence that her body was found. Like, God knows how long she would have been there if it hadn't happened.
That
like
must have been another one of her wishes to just clear shit up really quick, because like so far like 5 people has died like around her and she's not questioned or pulled aside. There's not even a single cop in the entire movie. Like there's all this death around her and she's not questioned.
That, like, you'd think that authorities would find it suspicious that all these deaths are happening to people related to this one girl, but no, it's just not touched on.
Yeah, I
So,
found this dead body in a house, but that's fine. You can go home.
It's a plot device for me. You don't understand.
Oh.
It's part of my character development. I'm living my truth.
She's an insert. So she's at another party with her boyfriend Paul, who is madly in love with her. And earlier in the movie, like, she sees someone like sneaking around her house at night, and they always run away when she tries to confront them.
Jumping like 2 stories down, by the way, because she lives on the top
like they're
floor.
they're outside her window, and like she like gets outside, and they're suddenly like 150 feet away. Like, how
She
did they?
just sees them doing like a backflip off the porch.
So she gets suspicious for some reason. I don't remember why, but she's like, Paul, let me see your phone. And she discovers that, that it was him who was creeping on her at night, and he was like taking pictures of her while she slept and shit. Yeah, it's that monkey's paw thing. It's like the only
Chad.
instance of that. Yeah. Chad, it becomes bad. It's not good.
That's just like another product of her wishes. Like all the rest of them are super fucking vague except for that one.
Yeah, and because she used like specific wording, it turns against her. God forbid that the writers put any thought into what they do, because all the deaths are just mindless here. Like, they don't really have anything to do with anything.
Even a fucking kid would know. Not like if you had like a genie type grant a wish scenario, not to say, well, I like wish that like I don't know, like my lame dad like wasn't like lame
or whatever. Yeah,
or
it's like,
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 of her wishes
And then
she
that
makes
somehow
exactly
works.
like that.
yeah.
I wish that she would just like rot or whatever, and then we've got T-virus now.
So they go to a hotel or something because they're doing like a scavenger hunt, I think. And her friend, who was saying shit like bitch sauce and got ninja, is
The
like
worst
playing
character
like
in the movie.
yeah, by far. She's always saying obnoxious shit like that.
Well, you didn't set up that she plays this mobile game that's like Pokemon Go, but like horror themed, and you find monsters and fight them.
And she gets really hype about
She's
it too. I've never
obsessed with
seen
it.
anyone give that much of a shit about a phone game.
Yeah, it's like she's taking it fucking seriously, man. Like, she's a gamer girl.
But the kids, the youths, they're all about their Pokemans Go.
This did come out in
Pokemans went.
2017, so I could feel like they really drew it from that, obviously, but even then, no one got that hype over Pokemon Go like she does with this fucking game.
Yeah, this is a movie made for kids, but without knowing how kids work.
Yeah, it's totally cut off.
No
from reality.
no teenager in high school functions like this ever. But okay.
So she's like, oh, the thing that I need to get in the game is up on like the 9th floor or whatever.
Which makes
You
no
guys
sense.
wait here. I'll be right back. And so she like rides the elevator up, and then she gets back in the elevator. The elevator malfunctions. And did you guys think it was weird that like she called her friend? Like, I guess there wasn't an an emergency button like in the elevator. Like, the first thing she does is she calls her friend, the main character, for help. She's like, "Hey, get somebody." Like, all elevators have to have like a fire rescue button.
Yeah, but then it just free falls and that girl gets fucking murdered in 2 seconds.
And
Yeah, it just
fail-safes,
snaps
too.
for some
I'm
reason.
pretty
Yeah.
sure elevators could never actually do that.
And did you guys catch like what happened? Like there was like a weird clearly put in post like camera shaking effect when the elevator hit the ground. It was so fucking bad. Like, they
I
couldn't
didn't
have just
notice
like
that,
done a
of
handheld
course.
cam and just like shook it themselves. I guess that would have required too much effort. They just like put in like the most lazy
And
kind of thing.
I've also downloaded that Adobe Premiere plugin.
And to make things more tense, at the exact same time her friend is stuck in the elevator, her dad is going to some saxophone gig because all of a sudden he just has a band again.
Yeah.
And he pops a tire, and and he's like reaching under his car after he jacks his car up to try to change it, and you're like, oh no, which one's gonna die?
Yeah, it's like teasing you the whole time. And like you're clearly supposed to think it's her dad because like he has his entire body underneath this car that is lifted by a jack. And like he's like, the reason he's under the car is he's like reaching for a screw he dropped while changing his tire. And it's like almost on the other side of the car. But instead of going around to get it, he puts his entire body underneath the car. It's like
That
the
guy has
stupidest
3
bullshit.
near-death experiences in like 5 seconds. Because first you got these 2 guys that are Tokyo drifting around that corner and they almost hit him. Then the
Yeah.
car almost falls off the jack onto him. And then like
he loses the tire.
the tire gets lost and it ricochets off another car like right at him, right at his face, and he just like ducks out of the way.
It was hilarious.
Like, don't buy a lottery ticket, dude.
He's the one who's able to dodge it.
And yeah, it's like, I guess, you know, we can assume that the box isn't fucking with us, the audience. So that just happened, you know, like independent of the box doing its supernatural thing. This dude is just a fucking idiot. Regardless of, you know, divine intervention.
Yeah, he just has a fucking rain cloud over him like the whole time. Just bad shit's just happening constantly. I mean, look at his daughter.
He's just like walking down the road, 3 planes crash behind him, like someone drowns, and he just looks back. He's like, "Gosh, that's weird."
And that just a
Well,
light
maybe-
touch on that too. Like the whole reason he was even out there is because he was going to like a saxophone gig because he's no
Sure.
longer like, I don't know, like embarrassing or something, as
Yeah.
she puts it.
So he's in a
And, like,
freeform jazz group.
All these random time jumps just happen. You actually have no idea how long this has been going on because
She's
it just
30
jump
now.
it just like jump cuts to scenes where shit has just happened. It's like, oh, they have a mansion now. Oh, they have a BMW now. Oh, he's in a band. They're practicing in their living room now. Oh, he's got a gig. Like, how long has this fucking been going on? But it just makes cuts like that throughout the whole movie. This
Yeah,
could
it's
be
kinda
like 1
disorienting.
year. It could be fucking 10 years. You have no idea.
Could be a week.
Could be.
So, the main character is sleeping in her bed, and she wakes up and sees the home invader again, or who is revealed to be Paul, the guy that, you know, fell madly in love with her as per her wish, and he's, you know,
He's
like
backflipping up her back porch.
yeah, he's doing some sweet parkour moves. And so he's like, are we breaking up? And she's like, yes.
He's like, yeah, dude, get the fuck out of my house. I don't care that you
Yeah.
played Mirror's Edge. Get
Yeah,
outta
and he's
here.
holding a knife while he's saying this too.
Yeah, he's being threatening, and then he's like, "Well, I don't want to live if I can't have you." And then he just like starts dragging the knife down his wrist, and then it just like cuts to the cops taking away his body.
Yeah, and she's still inside, again, not talking to anybody about what just happened. It shows outside the window them carting his body into the ambulance and driving away, and she has not said a fucking word to anybody, even though she broke in her house, slit his wrist in her room. She's just absolved of having to say anything about the situation.
Now she's like, ew, now there's blood in my room. I
That's
wish I was
inconvenient.
hot.
I mean, yeah, like knowing this main character, yeah, she probably didn't give a shit. She was probably just like, "Ugh, that's annoying. I wish I had $1."
That's a mild
Oh,
inconvenience.
that's
Yeah.
fucked up. Then just
It's
goes to
gonna
the
smell
box
like
and
dead
makes another
body.
wish.
That's like turbo schmegma.
I wish I had a Swiffer mop to clean this up.
And her dad gets nailed to the cross.
So, the people are always trying to like. I think at this point in the movie, she's talked to her friends about what's going on with the box, and they like try to tell her to get rid of it, and she's like, "No, I'm not gonna. You suck." And then like I guess the next day the box is gone. I don't know. Did you guys think that was weird? It was just like it was kind of disorienting, but the box is gone out of nowhere. It's missing. And all of her wishes are undone. You know, they moved out of the mansion and into their shitty house.
Well, it's because one of her friends took it.
Yeah,
Well, the-
yeah, exactly.
The other
It's
friend
revealed-
took the box after the annoying one died.
Yeah, and she gets like her 2-second background where she's like, I have little sisters at home, and that's literally all she says.
That's the only thing we know about her character whatsoever, is one little throwaway line. I had to put the box in my school locker because I have sisters.
I also love that these fucking friends of hers are trying to like morally grandstand, like, you're like a bad person though.
You're being totally
It's like, yeah, weren't you getting these $800 purses from her like 2 days ago? Fuck yourself.
Could have been 2 days, could have been 6 months, we don't know.
Hard to say.
I can't believe that you bought me a Bugatti. Now you're a bad person.
Yeah, that was like the thing that happened right before the one friend died in the elevator. They're just telling her how much of a bitch she is, and we know they're right.
They do say like, you had 7 wishes and you didn't do anything for us. And it's like, she didn't buy you all that shit. Like, she bought you at least one $800 purse. Like, you're welcome.
That's the only thing that happened on camera, let alone all the other shit she did.
Right? Like, they were doing like other, shit. They were getting like manicures and shit. Like, she was bankrolling. She was a sugar mama.
Yeah, she was swiping her card and throwing down fat stacks.
So she
like
confronts
the type of fucking moron to go into McDonald's and be like, make it rain, and order 3 things.
Probably, actually, as fucking vain and shallow as our main character is. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. So she confronts her friend for stealing the box. She's like, no, give it back, please. I need it. You can't control it, but I can. And they're like,
an 800 credit score.
They're arguing about it at the top of the stairs. And of course, like, the other girl falls down the stairs in the most hilarious way. She falls on her back and then flips over, so she's, lying, like, she's falling, like, face down the stairs, and she hits her head on each individual step going down. It's fucking hilarious.
It is actually really funny.
I was hoping she was dead at that point. I was like, oh, if this is a death, please, this will be, like, the worst death ever, and it's gonna be great.
Oh man, it was so funny. Yeah, that's probably the most hilarious death in the movie.
But what happens after she has a fight and almost kills her friend after she falls down a flight of stairs? She just goes home. They just let her go home.
Yeah, like
again, nobody talking to anybody.
Yeah. And that's probably the most suspicious death of all the ones that she has been involved with, because she was there when it happened.
Yeah, she was directly involved with that one, and still no one gives a fuck.
Like she was hands-on in that situation, but they don't even question her.
Wait, I was kidding. Was that girl dead?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought she didn't die.
No, she did.
The only one that didn't die was the face-rotting chick.
Oh. Yeah, because she comes back and looks like Two-Face.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After they lose their mansion and all the popularity, all the wishes get undone. That she comes back to school with a giant scar on her face, and she's still dumping on her.
Yeah.
She like throws coffee like, you fucking nerd.
You'd think she'd have learned some humility, but no, she's just back to being a bitch. Oh God. So she makes her next wish, her second to last one, I believe, where she wishes that her mom had never committed suicide. And this is the first wish that we see where there is really no limit to what this box can do. Like, it can like bring back the dead and like alter people's mind, because like the mom is back and nobody remembers that she killed herself. As far as they are aware, she just has been there the whole time.
Yeah, and there's 2 little kids like insinuating like, oh, look at the little sisters you would have had. So we're able to retroactively alter time with this, and I'm like, whoa, you can't just drop that. You wasted your first 5 wishes on like,
I wish I had money, I wish I was cool.
but you could have done all this shit.
Yeah, it's like so fucking superficial, shallow shit like that. And like, she makes no attempt to better the world, like, you'd think anyone would do.
Or like, why not have one? If you wanted to have like a self-indulgent wish, you have, I wish I had more money. I wish I had like Jeff Bezos money. Then you become popular. Then you become cool, and then you can do whatever the hell else you want.
Yeah, and you could give money to charity. You could have solved all your wishes in one wish if you did that.
Yeah, I wish I had $1 billion, and then there.
Billion.
It's more efficient wish use.
That's probably exactly what she would have said, and then there. Because at one point, one of her wishes, she's like, what does she say? She says, I wish my uncle would just leave me everything. So there.
It's like, okay,
she says to the box, so there. I don't know why.
Yeah, she dabs on the box.
The box is really having to make some leaps to interpret what she's saying.
Yeah, it's like,
I kind of feel bad for the box.
It's English to dipshit dictionary out.
So she's going through her mom's shit now that her mom is back, and she finds a painting of the box. And she realizes that her mom was the previous owner of the box, and that's why she killed herself. And, okay, like, how... I have several questions.
I have no answers.
I don't know, but... like, how did her mom get the box? I guess it's not really important, but the most important one is, like, how did did her dad just never see the box? And why were they not left in a much better place by the end of the mom's life? If she had made 7 wishes prior, why do they still live in a shithole, you know?
And also, if that happened 10
Relative.
years ago, what happened in the box in the meantime? Because at the end of the movie, it was implied that, you know, the dad found the box in the trash and brought it home. But how is it just in some random dumpster in town from 10 years ago?
Oh no, it was in front of some mansion where the last guy that had it, like, lost his mind, and then the house was destroyed.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
yeah,
'cause at
but
the
then
beginning
when
of the
did the
movie-
mom have the box, though?
I think it was in between that time. Like, the mom had the box, and then the guy that went crazy with it had the box.
Well, at
And
the
then
very
for
beginning of the movie, we see her, like, put the box in the garbage. So at some point, it somehow ended up in you know, the mansion guy's possession. So,
I
but
don't know,
yeah,
man. I
it
didn't
just
fucking write it.
yeah, they don't bother. Why should I?
The last 10 minutes of this movie, it just fucking shits itself.
Yeah,
Like, really bad.
This is again like another point where like her friend her friend from her Chinese class explains to her again why shit is you know happening with this box, and oh my god, I can't with this movie, man.
Getting nauseous.
He explains to her fucking again, and you know she finally gets it again. Why? Why did that need to happen?
I mean, I get that this is horror. Like, this is basically the end of the movie, and like,
Yeah.
I get that it's horror movie logic, and everyone has to be stupid and unlikable.
Yeah, this movie wouldn't happen if people weren't stupid. Like,
Yeah, especially her. The main character is just so unlikable. And then her final wish is like, oh, I'm gonna beat you, box. And then she wishes for it to be the morning before all that shit ever happens.
well, so let's rewind a bit.
Uh-oh.
Her second to last wish was that her mom was back. So someone needs to die. So like she just got her mom back. It's been like a couple hours that her mom has been back from the dead, and she looks out the window, and her dad is like helping their friend cut a branch out of a tree with a chainsaw, and he's standing right next to the ladder, directly under the chainsaw, and she's like. And this is like probably the only time where she has any sort of anticipation for what's going to happen throughout the whole movie. She's like, "Oh no, this isn't good," and it's like, "Fucking yeah, finally!" And she like screams at them to stop, and the guy with the chainsaw just like is like, I think the dad like kicks the ladder, and so the guy at the top drops the chainsaw and just cuts her dad's head off, and she gets splattered with blood. It's great. It's really funny.
It is always wonderful.
Yeah,
It's an exceptional
I
sequence.
feel like the deaths got more entertaining towards the end of the movie.
Although you could see the PG-13 working its magic there, because if this movie had balls, we'd see that guy's head lopped off like Resident Evil.
Hell yeah.
If only.
But instead we just get blood like spattering on her face, and then she goes and has a shit fit and reverse
Yeah, she's
time,
like, I know
and
how
we
to
have her-
beat you. Yeah.
And then
she wishes that she could go back to before she got the box. But, and she's super satisfied because she thinks that, like, oh, I beat you. I beat you. Everything's undone, but I'm still alive. Yay, I made all 7 wishes and everything's okay. And that's her arc, I guess, is that she learns to appreciate what she had in the beginning because she's happy with everything. Like, she loves her dad and shit. She's happy living in her shitty house. Cool.
And then she gets hit by a car and flies 20 feet back.
But not before we get another iteration of one of the greatest lines in cinema history, where her classmate again asks her, because, you know, she rewound time, and she uses her knowledge of, you know, the alternate timeline
She
to,
baits
talk
this,
to him
though.
about
She
shit.
does it on purpose.
Yeah. And so she's talking about multiverses, and he's like, hold on. You dig on multiverses? And then, yeah, so they decide they're going to go on a date, and she's like, great, see you there. And then she turns around and gets hit by a car and flies fucking 20 feet in the air. It's fucking great.
And we cheered.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
And that's the end of the fucking movie.
I was
Yeah.
waiting for an hour and a half for her to die, and it finally happened. It was so great. But, well, that was another thing, though. For some reason, when she was talking to that dude, she gave him the box to bury it.
Yeah, what the fuck was with that? Like,
Because, like, before she asked him on the date and all that stuff, she's like, oh, yeah, I know your cousin, by the way. And then he's like, how do you know that? She's like, oh, I'll tell you later. And all this shit. And then she hands him the box. All you have to do, I'll go on a date with you. You got to bury this. Like, because she couldn't have done it, I guess.
yeah, she's like, don't open it. And, you know, because she rewound time, he's never seen this box before. So why would she trust that his curiosity won't get the better of him? Like, she's the only one who knows about this box now. Why can't she just get rid of it herself?
That was fucking stupid. And then...
It's so that they could set up for the sequel in the amazing
Yeah,
mid-credits scene.
yeah, this movie has the balls enough to think that people are going to sit and wait for the credits of this fucking thing to see if there's an after-credits scene. Which we
Yeah, so
did. And there was one. And it was like 30 seconds, and the guy's like out in the woods. He's gonna bury it because he's like, oh, he's a pussy if I bury this. And then he goes out to bury it, and then he's like looking at the box, and he's like, huh, seven wishes?
And then he like looks around like really suspiciously, like to see if anyone's looking.
Like a little
he
scamp.
immediately takes it seriously. Like, I feel like anybody else, even the main character, would have read that it said 7 wishes, and they were like, huh, well, it's just a knick-knack. But he was like, 7 wishes?
He's like, oh, I guess I'll just read the rest later.
Yeah.
Puts his thinking cap on.
I'll wait until
Yeah.
anything bad happens, and then I'll read the whole box.
And that's it. That's the movie.
Yeah, that's
And
Wish
it's over.
Upon. It's great. It's. I was about to, well, even though this is a PG-13 movie, we do get one F-bomb, and it's the most worthless F-bomb ever. There's just a part where she looks up and she goes, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." And I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's where you use
And
your
it was
fuck?
like,
Come on.
it was like right near
Grow
the
up.
end of the movie too.
Yeah. They really teased you. So, what do you guys give it out of 10?
Man,
4.
I think what I don't want to give it more than our past movies. I think my hatred for this movie is purely the characters and how
Totally.
fucking obnoxious the main character is. So I'm gonna have to give it a 3 because I hold genuine spite for this movie and anyone involved with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 3 as well.
I mean, I thought it was, at least it's entertaining. It's stupid, but it's entertaining. Like, there's a million movies like it. You could see every plot point coming a mile away.
Totally.
There's nothing particularly special about it. It draws from, again, some sort of nursery rhyme type thing, like a genie, and then, oh, at the end, in the end credits, we've got the "Careful What You Wish For" song.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, when the credits start, it's like, you know, like decent, you know, imagery, you know, around the box and like just generally creepy shit. But like it's playing this pop song that's like, "Be careful what you wish for, what you wish for," because they couldn't be bothered to think of anything, you know, anything besides the low-hanging fruit of that phrase.
Yeah, this movie is just so average. It deserves less than that, I guess. Like on IMDb, it has a perfect in the middle 5.0, and that says a lot. It's just like
That's too high.
it's like
That's too high.
it's a movie.
Well, on Metacritic, it's got like a 32.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's closer.
I would give this a low 4. Like,
I'll give her a 3 for sure.
I mean, it held my attention, I guess.
It was funny to make fun of, but it wasn't entertaining in the traditional sense of how a B movie should be entertaining. It was
Yeah.
more just talking about how stupid everybody is and how infuriating it is.
I mean,
Pretty
it
much.
just reminds me of every dumbass, like, 2010s horror movie made by people that don't care. So,
Yep. I
And
think
yeah,
this
just
movie
because-
had a budget of 13 million. Let's see.
It had a budget of $12 million. It made $14 million.
Wow.
So they actually got a return on this, which wasn't hard.
I'm kind of surprised that they got a return on this, honestly, because like, what's the draw of this?
Well,
Like,
most
aside
horror
from that the
movies-
kiddies are gonna go see it, like, what was the draw? There's no one like important in it. It's not directed by like a huge director. It's not based on something.
It's. I think it's only that it came out in the summer when school's out, and it was PG-13,
Yeah.
and it's a horror movie. Like,
The only
Teenagers.
points I have to give to the movie, like towards the positive whatsoever, is that it didn't rely on jump scares, which is like a huge trope in the 2000s and 2010s.
I think it only had 2 jump scares.
It did at the beginning, like the rats and
Yeah.
when her mom hung herself. We've got those jump scares, but yeah, for the most part, the rest of it's fairly restrained. Is that a word that I can use for this?
I guess I would have hated it.
It could be
more.
worse.
Yeah, I could have hated it more if it just relied on jump scares, like a lot of 2010s horror does,
Yeah.
because it's a lot cheaper to just instead of making something genuinely creepy, and that's what a lot of horror films are lacking nowadays.
Yeah.
It really makes me sad.
Effort.
Yeah, effort whatsoever.
All right. Do you guys have anything else for this?
I got nothing.
All right, Wes, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you dig on multiverses?
I dig on multiverses, son.
Okay, follow-up question. What are we watching next week?
Oh, what are we watching next week? The the most colorful multiverse of all, Battlefield Earth.
Yay.
Everybody's real excited.
Yeah, I'm as
I
happy as a
hope you're-
pig in shit.
I hope you're ready to tilt your head 45 degrees to watch the entire movie. You'll see what I mean next week.
I'm going to sue you for my chiropractor bill.
All right then. Well,
All right, thanks for listening, y'all.
thanks for listening.
Bye.
Trash, bro.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Cover my eyes! Ah!
That's it. What, we some kind of
B-roll boys.